Stampede Park, and right beside it, the familiar Saddle Dome, the home of the NHL Flames. And next March, the Nokia Brier, the Canadian Men's Curling Championship. We're in Calgary. Curling's Snow White, the former Canadian champion, Cathy King, formerly Cathy Borst, and shots like this have put her through to the final. Cheryl Bernard struggled this week in Calgary. She had to come through the seaside, sudden death, and then stole one, and then stole another, and here puts it on the lid. You make shots like this, you'll get the money. Hi again, everyone, and welcome back to the Calgary Curling Club. Hope you enjoyed your Thanksgiving Day weekend. We're ready for this final of the Autumn Gold Classic, part of the Lubriderm Women's Tour of Curling. 32 teams began play on Thursday, and we whittled it down. We started the Money Monday bright and early this morning with quarterfinals, and then on to the semis, where Kelly Law, the 2000 Canadian and world champion, lost to Cheryl Bernard in an extra end as Bernard stole it to win. And Cathy King, the former Cathy Borst, another former Canadian champion, was a big winner, 9-4 over Shannon Kleibrink. Cathy Gauthier alongside. And on this day when they hand out the money, it has been King who's been more impressive, I think. Well,
maybe not more impressive, but certainly on the scoreboard hasn't squeaked out the wins like we've seen Cheryl. But what our viewers didn't see is this morning, first thing against Cathy Overton Clapham. Cathy had a chance for 4 in the 9th, underthrew it a little bit and didn't make that shot. That could have been the difference. It would have put Cathy King down 2 coming home. And so she's just gained momentum from that, and we'll see what she does this afternoon.
And then there's Cheryl Bernard. She stole a win in the quarters. She stole another win in the semifinal to make this championship game, and I think by her own admission would say her team not playing very well.
Well, they're not playing maybe as well as they want to be playing. It's still so early in the season, Vic. The biggest difference, if you didn't see our game earlier today, was Cheryl really struggled with draw weight, and as a skip, you got to have the confidence you can put it where you want it. Maybe she'll have it tonight.
The winner takes home $9,000. The loser will leave Calgary with 6. It's been a perfect weekend, outside and inside, here in Calgary on WTSN.
The Women's Tour of Curling on WTSN is brought to you by Husky and Mohawk Retailers and Mother Nature's Fuel ethanol gasoline. Discount Car and Truck Rental, the people who pick you up. For reservations, call 310-CARS.
Cheryl Bernard on the left, Cathy King is on the right. We're ready for this championship final of the Autumn Gold Classic. Time to read the ice now with Cathy, and it's brought to you by Whirlpool. Just imagine.
It's early in the season, but not too early for Jamie Barrass's ice crew, making that rock go 3.5 to 4 feet around a center guard. Around the corners, you're going to see the same sort of movement with a really hard finish at the end, up to 4 feet. In the wings, we haven't seen a lot of play. When we do, it moves less, about 2.5 feet. The key to this game is helping it along or getting it started. Means almost a sure miss.
By now, very familiar teams to us. The team from up in Edmonton, the Otwell Curling Club. Their lead is Kate Horn, Brenda Bomer, Lonnie McDonald, and Cathy King, the former Cathy Borst. And from the Calgary Winter Club, it is Karen Roos, Barb Davies, Susan O'Connor, and Cheryl Bernard. And it will be Miss King on the left, who will throw first. She will play the red stones as Bernard has the hammer here in the first. The winner to get $9,000.
It's a great payday for sure. They determine last rock and color choice in this final game, as they have in all other games, by the toss of a coin. Cheryl Bernard's team winning that. Cathy having the choice of color, 60. And she chose red.
I got 50.
Two great teams from Alberta. Give you a bit of a preview of what might be their provincial final.
Nice weight.
And two teams, Cathy, who came through the hard way. They came through the seaside. So if you're not familiar with bonspiel play, you usually get, it was, you know, 3 losses and you're out. So if you come through the A side, it means you've probably won 4 straight and you've gone through. And then on the B side qualifier, you've lost once. C side, you've lost 2 and can't afford any more.
Back against the wall, and you probably played about 8 games to get to today. So for teams that haven't played a lot this year, the old muscles start to kick in right about now. And this is where all of the preparation that they do in the off season really, really becomes a factor.
Into the rings, and I don't think we should be surprised with this. Maybe an open first end.
We traditionally do see that between two strong teams that respect each other very much. It's just about wanting to make sure that they're comfortable with the ice conditions, and they've had a couple of hours off, and just wanting to loosen up slowly.
Do they practice in bonspiels on the surface before they play? Or is it just the practice that they have before the bonspiel starts?
No, they wouldn't have a chance to practice.
So this isn't like, say, a Scott Tournament of Hearts, for example.
And that's the biggest reason for that, is that there's just not enough time. And having played 3 games today, or going into their 3rd game, I think that they're probably throwing about as many rocks as they want to throw.
Yeah, you know, the open first end. I know we've debated it before. Why you don't? You know, in a Scott situation, you do practice. Why don't you just go after each other right from the first stone? Because we often see that open first end. You may as well then make it an 8-end game. You know, that's the thought amongst some people. $9,000 goes to the winner. $6,000 to the runner-up. If you made it to Money Monday, you were guaranteed at least $2,500 for a total purse of $33,000. 32 teams from across the country, in fact, internationally. We're here in Calgary, including the multiple world champion Elisabeth Gustafsson of Sweden and the defending Swiss champion Strausak of Bern.
Waiting for a chance to get the Swiss in, weren't you?
I always try. But you know where I'm coming from with regards to that? You know, going, why don't you take the game to each other right from the first stone?
It's a little bit about at the Scott Tournament of Hearts, where the draws are really, really spread out much more. And there is that extra time to practice going up and down the sheet. In bonspiels, there's just not enough time to do that. And you know what, even in the Scott Tournament of Hearts, this is play that we're used to seeing an awful lot. Teams tend to play it defensively the first end and go when they're ready. I think that we'll see both teams prepared to mix it up starting in the 2nd end.
Did you just put the head on this time? Huh? You're brewing. Did you just put the head on this time? Little more.
Brenda Balmer's a grain farmer from Alberta. Talked to her before the game. She said it was a very average year, and if you farm in this country, you know that an average year is pretty darn good considering the weather patterns that we've had, and she was pretty happy with that.
From Bulf. She's from Bulf, Alberta. South of Edmonton. Barb Davies. Now these teams, both teams have gone through transitions as well, moving people, adding people. Trying to find the right combination that will get them back to the top and win their province.
For Cathy's team, the change has been at the 3rd position. It's the same front end, Brenda and Kate, who we saw in 1998.
Good one.
And the same would apply to Cheryl. It's a new 3rd, although her 3rd previously, Karen Roos, is still on the team, but playing at the lead position.
Won't be light, though.
And here's the change. This is Lonnie McDonald. She was recently married in June. But if you follow our season of champions, you know that she is a Canadian mixed champion. Lonnie Goodfellow at that time, her maiden name.
Hurry for peace. Right up. Hurry, 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 hurry. Good sweeping, you guys. That's it, Lonnie.
Worked hard on it to stick around.
And her husband, Brent McDonald. And then, of course, the other member of that Canadian mixed team is now playing 3rd for Cheryl Bernard and getting ready to throw, and that's Susan O'Connor. So it's an interesting story. You've got 2 teammates, Canadian champions in the mixed division, but now facing each other here in Calgary.
Just goes to show you as well how tough Alberta is to get out of. Both of these women have played on separate mixed teams, both Canadian champions.
Where? Oh, okay. No backing, no backing.
Cheryl choosing to draw down in the neighborhood of that rock that's just out of the house, but still in play.
That's good, sir.
Rock
Nice
curling a little bit more. It's still in the house, but the backing is just really not a factor.
Control weight. Well, maybe you better throw normal out
Yeah,
here.
that would be.
Lonnie McDonald.
Yep.
A wide open house here in the first of this championship final of the Autumn Gold Classic.
Right up.
Yep.
Hard.
Hurry.
Working hard to make contact.
Okay, you're good, Lonnie.
Again, Cathy just letting her know that she threw it well. Just needed a little bit more ice because it does curl. And this sheet does move more than others. It's not about the ice, but in fact, the rocks are a little bit different.
Now there is one stone just sitting outside the rings at the back. Are they going to play down to that, try to use that, or where are they
Certainly
going?
to that side, Vic.
Yeah.
If it's not frozen to it, they're not really worried about that. But somewhere in front of it might improve the
hard,
odds
guys,
that
all the way.
in hitting it, they may jam back on it.
Great sweeping, you guys. Good sweeping. It's a good shot, Sue.
When you were playing with Connie, did you ever talk about what made a good team, or did you ever? Because when you see teams mix and match and pick and trying to figure, I mean, she's looking for a new third, and the others move roost, to, you know, all that. What combination? Why do you think you as a foursome were so good?
I think it's, you obviously need some ability and some talent or you wouldn't be competitive. But I personally believe that the really, really good teams that consistently appear over and over again are teams that not only have great ability, but they have the same goals and same dedication to working really hard, both on and off the ice. And the most important thing, I think, is just the chemistry between the players. Whether you have somebody that's really quiet and that's balanced by somebody that's very yappy, or you all are quite together.
Clean.
I know that you're thinking the yappy one would have been me, and potentially that could have been the player. Certainly it's about how you bring out the strengths in others and how you bounce back from really tough losses that makes you strong teams.
Well, they get away with it.
Is it on?
Yeah, it is on. Just biting the top.
Cheryl looked at it for a moment and thought maybe drawn around, put some pressure on the first end, and then thought, you know, I played this end pretty much open. We might as well try to hit it. She hits about half of that stone. It's rolling into the house anyway.
Okay.
And isn't it funny, the search that goes on among teams to find that combination. And then when you look at, you know, Cathy, and since '98, she's been struggling a little bit. Just, you know, maybe that one Cinderella year. And then now she's mixed, matched, look, you know, experimented. And again this year with a new third.
It's elusive, that combination, because the quality of women in this country has gone dramatically straight up. There used to be driving it straight back and leaving the stone in play.
A jam.
Which is what they were,
I thought it'd come
Cheryl was in fact playing for earlier in the game. So Cathy, a chance to lie two and for Cheryl to make a good last shot or relieve or lose the hammer.
Little on that.
Little on this side of the line, yeah.
I mean, let's remember it was Heather Godberson who was with Cathy Borst, Cathy King now at that time. And, you know, you can't blame Heather wanting to move on. Heather Nedewin now, since she's gotten married. You expect that to happen. You know, there's going to be changes. But, boy, how important was that combination when you look back at it? And how difficult is it to find it again?
It's really tough because it's not only about having a player who is multi-talented, as Heather was for Cathy and certainly is. She lost to qualify out here this weekend. It's about the kind of temperament that makes a skip feel comfortable, feel confident to make that last shot.
Well, coming over. Well, no. Here, it's good.
Final stone for Cathy King here in the first. Cheryl Bernard does have the hammer. And she'll stop it back edge of the four, lying two. And so Bernard now forced to take one.
Just a little bit of a miscue on her first one. It either curled a little bit more than she thought or got it going a bit.
Final stone for Cheryl Bernard.
Clean. Yep. Hard. Okay.
Little clean by Ruse and Davies. And it'll sit right there. Nice shot for the single here in the first. Nicely underway in this final, the Autumn Gold Classic from the Calgary Curling Club here on WTSN.
Accommodations for the Husky Autumn Gold provided by the Calgary Ramada Downtown Hotel. Relax, it's taken care of.
First stone of the second end is sitting on the button, thrown up by the Cheryl Bernard lead Karen Ruse. Cathy King with the hammer, trailing 1-0. This is her lead, Kate Horn.
Kate's husband Daryl is their coach and has been with the team for about 5 years as an active coach.
Roll it. That's it, Kate.
Hit and roll to the wings.
It's interesting, even at the Bonspiels now, you're seeing coaches accompany teams. You know, Cheryl, this is her hometown, Cheryl Bernard, so she's got Bill Tischert, who's well respected in the CCA and has been doing videos and instructional books for years. Daryl, we saw Kelly Law had her coach here as well.
Clean. Coming down.
Don Duguid was here.
Yes.
As a coach for Cathy over
in Clapham.
I think more and more when, you know, even 5-10 years ago, coaches were viewed as, you know, something that maybe you would take to a Canadians. And then people started to realize the huge advantage of having somebody who really knows you, watch you, and to pick up, you know, where you kind of deviate from your game plan and where somebody's not throwing the rock well, what they might be doing to help you correct stuff before you really get into a sort of a trench and can't figure out what's going on.
Wait.
And for Cathy King's team, she is one of the teams that qualified for the Olympic trials in Regina. Cathy won the last chance Bonspiel, as they called it. Last chance effort for teams that had done really, really well. Cathy coming through there with the victory and the chance to be in Regina in about 8 weeks.
Yep. And it is a tremendous field on the women's side, those Canadian curling trials for the right to go to the Olympics in Salt Lake. Sherry Anderson, who's been by far and away the leading money winner in women's play the last few years. Heather Fowley from here in Calgary. Sherry Fraser from out BC way. Amber Holland. Colleen Jones, the reigning Canadian champion. Cathy King, of course. Marie-France LaRouche, who was very, very impressive at the Scott Tournament of Hearts out of Quebec City. Great field.
Nice throw, Barb. That's good.
And equally so for the men in Regina. I mean, every one of them is someone that you have seen in men's play. And you know, the sleeper in all this is third from the bottom. John Morris, world junior champion, twice Canadian junior, world junior champion, playing very, very well.
And I would argue that a lot of, he may be a sleeper in terms of how many people have actually had the chance to see John play live. Because of his age, he hasn't been across the country a whole lot. But that certainly is not a team that any of those guys will be taking lightly, because they do know how capable that team is and how well coached by Father Earl Morris.
Barb Davies.
Yep. Hard. Hurry. Hard, right up. Oh, good sweeping. My fault, Barb. Good throw.
Good throw by Barb. Cheryl just letting her know that maybe she'd under-iced her. What we found on this particular sheet is that the game went on, particularly with the kind of day that Calgary is having outside, about 20 degrees and really sunny, that we will see more and more and more movement. So it will be one of the challenges that the skips will face, to pick that up quickly and really know that their players are throwing them well. They just need to give them that little bit more ice.
How's the weight?
Brenda Bomer.
No backing.
Didn't get a chance to ask her if she still had the motorcycle.
Right here for line.
Well, we're
I don't know.
close.
Yeah.
How's line?
No backing.
You'd love to go touring
No
on
backing.
her bike.
In front. Whoa. Whoa.
Sit.
Pretty
shot.
aggressive
Wait.
call by Cathy to play the freeze,
But
not
you-
content to just run them up.
But you know what? Not a lot of finish.
No, it didn't. And a function of that, or part of the reason why that was, Vic, is they swept it just about all the way. It's the kind of ice where you have to sort of let it do its stuff and then try to hold it relatively straight.
Yep.
Susan O'Connor as we play third stones here in the second. 1-0 Bernard leading.
Hard. Right up.
Right up.
Okay, whoa. It's a good one. Nice shot, Sue.
Very nice.
Successful at removing it, but also moved the back stone out of the house, and so it's back to a one-rock house.
Normal.
Now, how aggressive do you get if you're king here? I mean, do you try to work with that, or do you say, now we're down to third stones, let's just play for the blank, we'll start again in the third?
I think she could be freezing down to this again. Her first call for Lonnie was very aggressive, wanted to play the freeze down to it. That stone is still behind the tee line.
Clean.
Cathy does have last rock,
Clean.
but obviously her comfort is with playing the hit,
Yep.
and that's what she's asked her to do.
Whoa. Great shot.
Avoids the jam, sits tee line, 12 foot.
Okay.
Yep. Hard.
Playing the
Hard.
intern way out in
Hard.
the wings, sometimes on arena ice,
Hard.
shots like this are not
Hurry.
possible because of the frost
Hard.
lines that can build up
Right up.
in the curling
Hard.
club, because they
Hard.
scrape
Hurry.
before the draws.
Hard. Right up.
It's pretty much the same as playing anywhere else.
That's good, Sue.
Really good brushing by Karen Roos and Barb Davies, just to hold it, to catch enough of it to
60?
avoid the jam at the back.
Yeah. Okay.
Good line. Looks like we're there. Might dig in on this side a bit. Yeah.
Curling.
Going to the other side of the house,
Stay
just to
with it.
force
Tee
Cheryl
line.
and her team to play out in a different area than they've been throwing in.
T line. That's it.
Great sweeping, you guys.
Time again to start thinking about the Whirlpool Pro-Am Challenge, where you have a chance to win an all-expenses-paid trip to Toronto to take on the best curlers in the world. Just imagine yourself playing against maybe a Jones, a Hemmings, a Law, Middaugh, or these two ladies, Cathy King or Cheryl Bernard. They were both part of the Whirlpool Pro-Am Challenge. There's the number to call for more information. The Whirlpool Pro-Am Challenge.
Yep.
It's interesting, from this afternoon, Cheryl was playing all of her hits from the inside to the out.
Clean.
Now they're playing outside in. You can see that this turn is much straighter. And as long as you throw it clean, it's going to stay very straight, which is probably a better percentage call. And Cathy doing the same thing.
Okay. Good throw.
Now, is that something, an adjustment from her semifinal where she found herself struggling a little bit? She struggled particularly with her draw weight, so maybe that isn't a conscious decision with regards to that. Well, why make that change outside in as versus inside out?
Sometimes, you know, you can find yourself into a pattern of just throwing the same way all the time without giving it a thought. What we're seeing here is what we talked about at the top of the show in Reading the Ice. If you're outside in, rocks run straighter. This morning when they played inside out, almost everything out of their hand, they were sweeping it really, really hard. And it's difficult to hold a curling stone. It's not difficult to hold a straight stone. And from very early in this game, Cathy King started using the outside in, and I think Cheryl was watching that. And it just may not have crossed her mind this morning, but certainly we're seeing a very consistent pattern of both skips to play the straight turn, and that is probably an easier turn to play.
Yep.
Easy, Lonnie. Make sure it's in.
And it is in. It'll hang on the edge of the 12, just in front of the tee line. So exchange of stones here, and looks like we're heading towards a blank here in the second.
I'll go get Daryl to get it.
No, it's okay, because then I'm fine. It's just when I sweep. I'll take this off.
Yeah, felt good. Talked to Lonnie before the game. She's got a bit of laryngitis, having a bit of a trouble. Calling the coach, the medic. Cheryl looking to stick yet again. As you said, Vic, it's probably leading to a blank, but you always want to have the other skip have to make the shot and not
make them throw it. Why are you giving them the free pass?
Just think it's the difference in weight.
And it will hang around, and in a great spot, really, when you think about it. Makes Cathy King go to a part of the ice she hasn't played before.
You do that last one well.
Good shot by Cheryl.
When you practiced, did you practice all the shots? I know there are some people believe that when you go out to practice, you really don't need to practice the hits, because hits you should be able to make. It's the draws. Did you practice everything?
Oh yeah, because it's completely different. Your mechanics are the same, you know, rock foot, but other than that, when you're driving out of the hack, when you throw a hit, the strength from your hit doesn't come from a push on your arm. It comes from a leg drive. So you see Cathy coming out. And so those are things that everybody needs to practice, kicking out hard and kicking out straight. As
Big
well as
rush
soft.
now from Horn and Bormert. Trying to hold her now.
Whoa.
Now needs a big roll here, back 8, and it will not go. So that was great positioning on that last stone by Cheryl Bernard, as Cathy King is unable to blank. We're even one apiece here in Calgary on WTSN. We've traded single points through the first 2 ends of this championship final. $9,000 going to the winner of the Autumn Gold Classic. And it'll be Cheryl Bernard, who curls out of the Calgary Winter Club. Calgary Curling Club, the Winter Club, and the North Hills, I guess, would be the 3 major curling clubs here in Calgary. I remember, too, there was the, what did they call it, the 64? Was it the 64 club? That's where
3.
No. This was over at the Stampede Park, and it was where the International Broadcast Center was in 1988. And they had
For the Calgary Olympics.
For the Calgary Olympics. It's called the Big 4, not the 64. And
That's close. We're only 60 off.
I was 50% right. I got the 4 right. But the Big 4, it doesn't exist anymore. But what they did was, that was the International Broadcast Center, and everyone who was broadcasting those winter games in '88, they were in there. They had 2 levels, actually. That's how many sheets they had, the Big 4.
Sorry if I'd looked at the kick time.
Cathy King lies 2, a bit of a miscue. They threw the first one in. Cheryl wanting to get some more rocks in play and asked for a corner guard. That rock sliding just in the house, which is the rock that was just removed. And so now, even though she wanted to get some offense going, she is forced to remove those stones or try to remove at least one of them.
Yep. Hard.
Karen Ruse.
Hurry.
Oh, big scrub here.
Hurry, guys. Right
Susan
up.
O'Connor, Barb Davies trying to hold it. Get them both. No, they'll get the top one. This is just the first of 5 straight weeks of the Lubriderm Women's Tour of Curling on WTSN. And then it's on to London, Winnipeg, where the added bonus is the fact that the winner there gets a spot in the JVC TSN Women's Skins game. And then Saskatoon and Red Deer. And for the next 3 weeks, Linda Moore will be sitting in my seat, joining Cathy, and then I'm going to be back for the 5th and final week in Red Deer. So she'll have to pit up with you.
What's with you in Alberta? You only travel to Alberta? You got Red Deer and Calgary?
Just Alberta. Yeah.
All right. Ooh, ouch.
It's not the first one we've seen hog, though. For whatever reason, I think, you know what? To a curler, they've said the ice can be very quick. And I think they get almost frightened by it.
Well, it does tend to slide really good. And, you know, you under-throw it just a little bit. It doesn't take much. Back to our schedule for 1 second. We've got 4 more events after this weekend. Two of those events will be the 4-guard zone. That is moving towards the European rules, the rules that the teams face when they represent Canada at World Championships, and also will be used in the Olympic trials. Barb Davies, we talked at the top of the show about getting it started, just turned it over in her hand. And there was the miss. Both teams are very common faces on the cash bill circuit. They've been playing the Gold Trail for many years, and both of them have earned over $49,000 in the last couple of years, which also shows you how close they are in terms of capabilities. $49,735 for Cathy and $49,250 for Cheryl.
How'd it go, Brenda?
Do you see any of it?
Guards the stone in the house.
Nothing, like a quarter?
Cheryl just going to straight pill that guard. It's a long guard. If it was closer, she might try the run back, but it really is quite high in front of the house.
Yep, a little more weight.
Barb Davies.
Hard, hard, hard. Hurry, 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 hurry. Right up. Yep. Oh, your way, Sue. Your way, your way. That's good shot, Barb. Good shot. Good girl.
And rolls to the corner, covering the edge of the 8.
Cathy again calling the guard on the stone in the 8-foot. Cathy without last rock, hoping to steal this end.
Lonnie McDonald.
It's a long way over there.
Well,
Got a curl.
Line's okay.
It's getting better. Getting better, yep.
Right up. Yep. Right up.
Clean, just clean.
Oh.
Finishes nice for her.
Yeah, very nice.
Trying to run?
Yep.
Okay.
And so far in this end, Cheryl not being able to use that last rock advantage.
Yep.
Well, part of that
to create something.
is the miss from Barb Davies, of course, put her on the defensive right away.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
And Cathy's made some good guards.
Whoa, whoa.
Run it back. She gets both of them. No, she'll just jam it. Well, you can see Sherry Anderson. This is through the first 4 years of the Women's Curling Tour. Sherry Anderson from Saskatchewan.
Just dominating.
Yeah, and then Kelly Law at 88,000, and of course Kelly losing in the semifinals here was guaranteed $4,000.
Sherry, of course, off to a good start again this year, winning the finals of the Montreal Open earlier this year.
Very nice.
Some 25 events on the women's tour.
Very nice.
$600,000 plus in total prize money.
Hurry.
Cathy wanting to use that guard and get another one around.
Sneak another one by. Oh, just great brushing. Absolutely. And we've seen that from them when they won their championship, their Canadian championship back in '98. Two of the best in Kate Horn and Brenda Bomer.
Tight, Cheryl?
They're also, besides being two of the best, because they're also really fit and they don't give up, they have a very interesting style. You'll see on this that Kate has the synthetic And Brenda has the horsehair, and there's a lot of talk that one of each actually is the best idea, because there are certain things that a cloth broom does that are better than a hog or a horsehair, and certain things that the others do. Together, they're a great combination.
And here again, just trying to open it up. There's always been the discussion, and it goes on, which one do you put closest to the stone? Do you put the hog hair or the synthetic? Thought being, if you put the hog hair, if you lose a hair, you'll lose your stone. But they obviously don't believe that.
There's two schools, and I think you'd have proponents of both. Their theory is that there are certain things that synthetic brooms will just not pick up right in front of the rock, and that's why they've chosen to put Brenda right in front of the rock with her hog hair or her horsehair broom. It looks like horsehair, and Kate in front of it to sort of, you know, clean the path. The criticism that's come over the synthetic brooms over the last couple of years is that particularly on arena ice, they start to flatten the pebble down in the sliding path, and then you see rocks starting to dig and grab later in the ends.
And also, if it's frosty, they can't get down below the pebble as a brush can, a hairbrush can.
That's right.
No.
So lying two
without the hammer.
Stone.
Yeah.
That's right. Cathy wanting to protect those two.
Gotta go.
Yep. Whoa.
Whoa. Whoa.
Oh. What's that kick, Katie?
Well, they've done their job. They've put up the guards. They've gotten the two stones in there, and they've protected them well. And now, I guess, in the indication here, you can't waste any more time. An opportunity, and Bernard seems to suggest she's just going to go around. Her turn.
Sure, she's just running out of time, and the angle in the house, it's a long guard. To eliminate it, you know Cathy's putting it back, which means that on your second shot, you're going to have to draw, so you might as well make it now. She's got lots and lots of room to get by here. Even if she's able to half tuck it behind there, she could tick on this or tick on this, and she knows that her second shot's going to be a draw, so she might as well go to school on it on the first one.
Line's good, just for weight. Line's close. Yep, for line, for line, for line.
Same
Hard
spot.
line.
Cheryl made the great draw shot
Hurry line.
that wound up being the stolen point and the win over Kelly Law earlier today.
Hurry, guys, right up. Right up.
Hard to balance.
We're going to really have to scrub if they want to get it by this one, and they will not.
Throw.
Both Cathy King and Cheryl Bernard are past winners of this event, the Autumn Gold Classic. Cathy King winning it in 1999.
Weight wasn't bad.
Cheryl back in 1990.
I'll make her throw a good draw. Like way out.
Yeah.
Blocks it off, forcing Cheryl to go way out in the wings, where the ice arguably will be a little bit different.
So if you can get in there to lie three, fine. But I mean, what happens if you just leave it short? Again, blocking the path higher up.
That's in fact better than being wide open and deep, because right now Cheryl's got a tough shot. Short's not bad. You just don't want to be wide open, T-line, to give her a wide open hit.
Top 12. Short. Short.
Tight. Slide tight.
Yep. Come around.
Where is it?
Lonnie making the decision.
Little rub. Yep.
They better go in.
Yep.
Playing the bounce.
Now they'll bounce out, and
That's
they'll
pretty
spill
much
in, yeah, to sit
you want.
three. So well called by Lonnie McDonald.
Coming this way,
Good shot.
Yeah, it worked out well. I think you were good. You were up the broom.
I took about here to where that red one was.
She's got two options. Both of them are draws. She can go way out this way, or she can go way out this way. Now, she doesn't have to get very much, because if you look at where this stone is, it's only just in the 8-foot. The question is, here she's got to worry about a hole. Getting by, and does it tick on this? I think she's standing in front of the house now. She might see that there's more room in
Because
here.
I'm totally guessing on weight out here.
Is there a hole there, though, between that yellow and red stones in the middle?
As long as this is the
Oh,
one.
sure.
Can you get through that hole right there?
Oh, sure. But do you really want to?
We clip this one then.
That's what Susan's talking about. I think Cheryl's thinking they can just come around the outside.
Very tiny hole. What else do I got? Nothing else, hey?
Not really.
Where she came? She was already out here. Not
Hers just dived too.
seems like the further out you go, the more they walk. Where was I on my ice?
Well, there's your hole she's talking about. Susan would like her to come here, and if she
They'll get a
ticks,
deuce.
she's figuring go there. Cheryl's actually thinking about initially coming out here. The concern here is this looks like a really big hole, but because the rocks, clear that, because the rocks just go sideways, the danger is ticking on that.
Yeah, but you're you're playing out turn at it. You've got to get full 8. Could you not play in turn and play out?
You could play in turn. The problem with playing the in turn, Vic, is that you have to take so much ice that you'd almost have to rub the red guard to get out there, and they haven't played that a lot.
So what do you think?
So they've gone back to their initial call, which is the out turn through the hole.
Okay.
This is what Cathy King wanted to force Cheryl to do, go way out in the wings to make the draw.
And with her last one, facing 3.
Yep, hard. Where? Hard!
She's looking for about 13 and a half, 14 to be good. Oh, she's got lots of weight.
Yep, yes.
Finds the hole now.
Lots and lots of weight.
Needs to find the brakes now. Stop in time, No, 1, 2, and back. Is it 2 or 3?
Jesus.
It looks like it's a steal of 3.
Cheryl. 3.
She got out into the ice that she wasn't sure of, threw a little bit too much, and Cathy King will steal 3 here in the 3rd.
She's way out there. They clean it pretty much all the way down. We saw the stopwatch at about 12.78. We know that's quite a bit. Thought it might fudge up a little bit, but you'll see it just slides and slides and slides.
Cathy King, you don't know, no need to wave the white flag. You're leading 4-1. Shot of the 3rd brought to you by Lubriderm. Feel good from the outside in.
Well, it's not always, you know, what you leave for the last skip that makes the big difference. Here, Cathy Borst has a great shot. She wants to go to the top 12. It curls a little bit. Here's a great call by her new 3rd, Lonnie McDonald. She sees that it's curling too far. She has the girls sweep really hard so that it ticks the yellow one and rolls there. That forces Cheryl way out into the wings, throws it up a little bit, slides to the back, and a big steal of 3.
There you go, Katie. That's it.
Being down a couple points is not really a surprise to Cheryl. She did this earlier today when she slid heavy and gave up a steal of 4 to Kelly Law and fought back and won in an extra end. So they're not going home by a long shot.
Karen Roos. Yeah, exactly. That's what you always have to keep in mind. Yeah, they gave up a big steal of 4. Same situation, too, where she just literally got out to a piece of ice, facing 4, and threw it through. Was heavy. And didn't come back to win over Kelly Law in an extra. Kate Horn, you mentioned her husband Daryl has been a long-time coach of this team. She works for EMCO Limited, their industrial division. EMCO, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, my biographies handles things like Delta faucets and that kind of thing.
I'll go with that. Of course, you also thought it was the 64 club.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, like we gotta. We're thinking everything's gonna.
So looking for a tight guard, brought it right in. It's a good protection, and the reason that they needed to be in the house is because that first stone, instead of at the top of the 4, it's actually deep.
Karen Roos, who used to be the 3rd for this team, has settled in nicely now at the lead position.
Obviously a position that she was happy to play. A move that they felt would make their team stronger. Still wanted to be a part of the team. Cheryl wanted her part of the team.
What adjustment do you, we've talked about making moves up a team. You know, lead to 2nd or 2nd, 3rd, or up to skip. What kind of adjustments do you have to make going down a team, if you want to say that, going from, say, a third to a lead.
The biggest thing, I think, for Karen, I'm not worried about her being comfortable with the position. She never would have agreed to play it had she not been comfortable. The biggest thing at third that she might find herself missing is the whole line calling. But the advantage that she's got is she's now looking at rocks from the other end, and she may see things from her perspective and her experience of playing backhand that maybe Lonnie and Cathy don't necessarily see. So it's additional input.
Cheryl,
The biggest thing is her comfort in playing that position.
Okay.
And I would think you might have to, and I don't know Karen well enough, and I won't even suggest it, but I think you have to be, your ego has to be
Close.
satisfied too, because that may have been, you could have your ego bruised going from the third to the lead position.
Yep.
Forgive me, Ray Turnbull, I know you would think that, but it's the truth, is it not? I mean, if you suddenly are asked to take a position down or move down.
Well, I guess it depends how that conversation went. You know, whether Cheryl
That's
said,
good, Barb. Good girl.
you know, we really need you to move down to lead. We don't think you're doing a very good job at third, which I'm sure was not the conversation, versus them sitting down as a team at the end of the year, Barb, Karen, and Cheryl, who had decided to play together, and say, what's missing to help us win? What do we need? And Karen saying, you know what, I think that we've got an opportunity to pick up somebody really young, somebody who's just won a Canadian mixed, and Susan O'Connor. Let's bring her on the team in the third position. I'll step down to lead so that Barb can stay where she's the best. That's a whole different ego thing.
Okay, well,
And that's doing it for the good of the team.
No question about it.
No line at all.
We're back.
No.
This rock's sliding.
Okay.
Bounces off a little bit, just about 6 feet, perhaps more weight than they wanted. It would have curled a little bit more with less. And so for Cheryl, who's looking to get some points on the board, wanting to use those two at the back, pretty much ignoring them. There's that corner guard, which is her objective. As long as it's behind the corner guard, she'd actually prefer it to be in front of the tee line.
Wait only.
Barb Davies.
Yep. Hard. Hurry.
Really snapping towards that corner guard, O'Connor, and Ruse sneak it by. Oh, not this time.
Yep.
Just rubbed the back half as it was going by. Great weight. No frustration?
Lonnie. Okay. Normal. Okay.
Lonnie works for the Capital Health Authority.
Yep.
Nose hit. We'll go right through the hole.
Yep.
Yep.
Clean.
Yep.
Clean. Just clean. Clean.
Girl.
Nicely done.
To line 3. And it really,
Put here. Just tap this back.
Bernard has been on her heels, as it were. You know, we said before,
Back line weight.
in the third, didn't have that opportunity. You got the last rock. You can't get anything going. And once again here.
This end for sure has been all Bernard.
Yep. For line.
All Bernard. All
For
King.
line. 3 lines.
Susan works at the
Where?
Foothills Hospital here in Calgary.
Yes. Hurry. Hurry. Hard. Whoa.
Trying to get the roll behind the corner guard.
Good girl,
Very
Sue.
nicely done. And second shot.
They're bad rocks. Good thing I had huge weight. I think you get 14 and a half here. You were 13 and a half. Yeah.
Talking about the weight, it runs 14 to 14 and a half. They're talking about the time between the two hog lines. Because of that great roll that Susan made, there's no way that the team can get in there at all in terms of punching it back or moving it. And so what Cathy is asking Lonnie to do is just to come around the corner guard to lie 2.
Hard for line.
Hard.
Hard for line. Hard for line.
Working hard to get it by this guard, tracking.
Nope.
Bounced off.
No, just leave it.
And now these two have created a little bit of a pocket to play down to behind the tee line. Just a reminder, weeknights on TSN, Sports Center with Rod Smith, 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific. Sports Center on TSN.
I like that. Control or normal?
She's got a couple of options, Vic. You had talked about maybe playing this. The problem with that is that they feel that Cathy will just come back down on them. What they're looking at doing is maybe hitting and rolling in front of the other one, or hitting and rolling again behind that corner guard.
Yep. Whoa. Whoa. Yep.
Susan O'Connor.
Whoa. Yep.
Made a great one on her first one.
Whoa.
Lots of weight.
You don't want to be.
Good throw. Should just maybe had it through.
And I
Yeah,
also
let's throw down center.
I had 8-8 too.
Okay.
For Cathy, of course, the shot stone is wide open and she wants to eliminate it. What she'd like to do is to sit right there or even roll a little bit. That would, her rock, if she hits it right on the nose, you would see is just on the tee line above it, and she's pretty comfortable with that.
Same as Lonnie's, eh?
Cathy once again has taken her maiden name of King. Two-time Canadian junior champion back in the late 70s. Canadian champion in 98.
Clean.
And a finalist in 95.
Clean.
Yep.
Clean.
Yep.
Yep. Whoa. Clean. Clean. Atta girl. Nice throw.
Nicely done.
Atta girl.
I don't know what good it does. Is
Well,
hit and roll this hand a double.
if they make the double, it won't want to.
What you're saying, I don't know how good that gets us. Well, there's an opportunity here for the double. Double roll, be line 2 behind the guard. Biggest thing here is for Cheryl to save her shooter. She doesn't remove both, that's fine. The biggest thing here is where she leaves the shooter. This retired thing.
Yeah, well, we mentioned that she had owned Fleming Insurance here in Calgary, but sold the company.
No.
And recently married
No.
to Russ Bischoff, who is now acting as the chairman of this year's Autumn Gold Classic, and we congratulate both of them.
That was weird.
A little bit of surprise in how the stone tracked.
Well, I think, we saw, earlier and earlier, if you throw lots of weight, very, very straight.
And hers bounced back into there.
But when the dust cleared, she's not actually in too bad a shape.
Just sit on that back one.
I don't mind being right in here.
Okay.
I mean, if I'm deep, that's
Yeah.
fine. But
Kathy's
if
got to
I'm
be
deep, I
concerned
miss the
about
line, though.
3 rocks.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's
you
going
might
to
be
curl over
biased.
here too far.
She's got to be line 2 after
well.
this.
So up there is fine.
Okay.
Okay, this is kind of where you were throwing.
moved it over
You
too.
threw about right there. Oh, did
But
you?
not much. I just tipped it.
Just to make sure we get by. A little
Okay.
touch more.
Okay. I like that.
14?
Pardon me?
14?
14 and a half. I asked them, but
She looked at a number of options. She certainly wants to be line 2. She's calling this her only concern, she said, is make sure we get by. We have seen this guard moved twice this end. It does move lots. She took a little bit more ice.
14 and a half?
14 and a half refers to what?
No, top 8.
Sorry?
14 and a half refers to what when they're talking about 14 and a half?
14 and a half is what her team believes that she will need to have between the 2 hog lines. The game started off at 14. It's very possible that it's getting a little bit quicker. There's people sitting out on the ice, so there's lots of air movement going on out there.
line's good.
No.
It's another one of the guides the team give.
Then yep. For line.
Cathy's team thinking 14 and a half. Our earlier times to the forefoot were 14.
Yes, come on.
Pretty
Got
close.
14, that should be about to the tee. They've been sweeping it hard. The decision now is to take it right to the back.
Atta girl, good sweep, you guys. Good weight call.
I knew right away I was heavy.
Then, do you want to try it?
I just played it,
Yeah?
pretty much.
Yeah? As long as we go real thin, we'll be fine, right?
Yeah. Is that the ice?
Yeah.
Is that where I threw? That's pretty
Well,
much
we
it.
were a little bit more this way, but
But that's about where I,
yep,
it's about as wide as I was.
yep.
Okay.
Same weight.
Yeah.
Monstrous potential here, folks. She hits this on the inside, goes here. When it goes by, it may just tick this. They may go out, and if Cheryl sticks around, there's the possibility of 4 yellows. If she makes the thin double across the top, it would be for 2. This is exactly the same spot she threw in. She knows it runs straight with a little bit of up weight.
2 is what she certainly wants.
4 is a bonus.
Trailing 4-1. Final stone here in the 4th. Cheryl Bernard quickly right out of her hand, and now watch him go.
Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
Davies and Ruse backing right off.
Fine.
And she'll hit it on the nose and settle for 1. She seemed to get it going, may have been inside a little bit. No way of saving it for Davies and Ruse. 4-2 as we go to the 5th here in Calgary. Kelly Law, Colleen Jones, Sherry Madaw are all guaranteed spots. The 4th and final qualifier to come out of the Winnipeg stop of the Lubriderm Women's Tour of Curling. You'll see that here on WTSN. And the Skins game, of course, from New Westminster, BC, November 10th and 11th. As we go to the 5th,
70.
and Cathy King has the hammer, leading 4-2 after Cheryl Bernard missed the chance. And as we were saying in the break, right now Cheryl, you know, despite her getting to this point, and so you give her credit for that, but she at times does not seem to be comfortable.
She's just not really confident with the way that she's throwing the rock. If you, on that last one, she knows it's going to run really straight. And she hits it about maybe a third, and she's getting 4. She hits it about half. She's got guaranteed 2. She threw sort of control weight out of her hand. I think really concerned about wanting to ensure that she got a point. And she did get a point, and she's certainly not out of this being down 2 points, but just not the real confident Cheryl that we have seen on other occasions.
Very nice first stone from Cade Horn. Karen Ruse.
Mine's good.
Giving credit where it's due, Cathy King is
Mine's real
not
good.
taking any
Yep.
prisoners. She's not letting her off the hook. They sort of
Hard.
sense that there's a little bit of a struggle on the Bernard team and going right after them.
Okay. Whoa, 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 whoa. Let it move, let it move.
Coming short.
Okay, Kara.
Sundays at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific. Join Norma Wick for WTSN Connects as she gets you caught up on the women's sports world in Canada and everywhere. That's WTSN Connects. Sundays at 6 Eastern.
Okay, well, okay, that's fine. Put it
Yeah,
here
I like that.
That's a tough shot because not only did she not come on top of the stone by the placement of those 2 guards, they can't even play the run back anymore. So the problems continue.
We haven't played a lot that way. Yeah, this should be good. Good line.
65.
Seems like quite a bit.
Kathy
Back
now
here.
has last rock. That stone in the
Back
8
here.
foot, almost near the 4 foot, is really well
have a
guarded,
left
and
now.
so wanting to just
it's sliding,
move
Brent.
play completely away
it's
from that side,
sliding.
going to the other side and behind the tee line, so there's no possible hit and roll option.
That's it. Good job. Keep going. Good shot.
Great shot, Katie.
Nicely placed.
62.
Second stones now, and this is Barb Davies.
Cheryl asking Barb for the hit and stick.
Yep,
She knows that she can't roll for shots, so what she's thinking, as in with the chess game, is that she'll hit and stick, move that rock up the house a little bit. Cathy King will then hit it, and then it will be in a position to either make the double or the hit and roll in. But she needs to stick, and she does.
Woohoo, we made an open hit.
Control weight.
Yep.
Brenda Bomer.
Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
Brenda wanting to stick around as well.
Sit. Atta girl.
Okay.
That's 9.
And now you can see the potential for Cheryl.
There it
She
is.
just showed you.
Yeah.
Roll the puppy.
Okay. Same weight. Hard.
And I know it's too easy to say, but when these opportunities present themselves, this is when you've got to take advantage of them. Like that. Now it has to sit for her.
Good try. Good try, Barb.
Just a little too thin. Spins out back 8, but still it is King shot stone top 8.
So for Cathy, an opportunity now to hit this one and also roll behind those 2 guards.
Do this. It's okay if you do this too. That doesn't hurt us.
The reason she's saying it doesn't hurt us is if it rolls out to the wings to the edge of the 12-foot, that's going to be pretty much a useless stone for Cheryl Bernard to try to roll in on because it's behind the tee line and it will be way out in the wings. So for Brenda, lots of options. The only thing they really don't want here is a nose hit.
Yep. Whoa, 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 whoa. Off.
We may be down a little.
Stay right there. Sorry, Bren. Wrong ice.
Well, it's been a very long Money Monday here in Calgary for these 2 teams in particular because they were Seaside qualifiers, so they didn't get off the ice on Sunday night till close to midnight. Then they were back on the ice 7:30 Monday morning. And you see Cathy King a winner, and so was Cheryl Bernard. That was an extra end win. And then it was on to the semis, so 3 games as Cheryl lost to Bernard in extra ends, had it stolen from her, and then Cathy King winning handily over Shannon Kleibrink.
And mental exhaustion starts to come into play here as well. Vic, you know, you talked about the tough wins by Cheryl Bernard, and both of those went extra ends. And don't forget, this morning started at 7:30. They've been out on the ice. It's almost 12 hours later from when they started. And tough games for Cheryl. Things that you have to just keep your head in all the time and remembering all the tricky spots and how it runs. And especially in the beginning of the year, sometimes it's that mental fatigue that just starts to catch up on you.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Close. Yep. Hard. Whoa. Hard. Whoa. 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 Whoa.
Call here wanting to just move these around a little bit. So the potential will be for the run back later on. Hoping to stick with both of those in the house. Stays with 1. But allows her maybe a run back later on.
Okay. Pose.
Just throw for the draw, not the backing.
Pardon me?
I don't know if this is the right line for backing.
Okay, I'll just try
throw-
and throw T.
Yeah, just throw T, we'll sweep it back.
What's the point about that?
Well, sometimes the tendency is when you see a rock at the back of the house that you worry about giving it that little bit of extra weight so that it comes down to it. What Cathy's saying is that I'm not sure if it's the right ice, so
Fine.
just throw T-line weight, and as long as we're somewhere in front of it, that will be fine.
Room.
Right to
Mine's
it.
good.
Come
Mine's good.
Once again,
Right back.
Brenda Bomer, Kate Horn, right to
Great
it.
shot, Lonnie.
Good sweeping, girl.
Oh yeah, terrific brushing. You made the point that this has been throughout the Bonspiel. Great ice to carry a stone.
Yes. And that's where a really experienced team will not try to throw it to the tee line. That, you know, if you're in a practice where you ideally want to be when you're practicing, it's just in front of the house, and then allowing your sweepers to take it that extra 6-8 feet. And these girls can easily do that on this kind of ice.
Very nice.
The run back.
You get the stone off the forefoot.
It tried.
It tried, meaning it was trying to climb up a little bit. If it curls a little bit more, she runs it straight back, and then she's in the 8-foot, but she's also protected by the guard.
Lonnie McDonald.
No.
Here in the 5th with her team leading 4-2.
Clean.
No, 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 no.
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 Clean, clean, clean.
Brenda just keeping her broom down.
Good shot, Lonnie.
Good work. I see my gripper. I didn't really want to stop and talk to you there. Thanks.
Good one. Nice shots.
So for Cheryl wanting to remove this stone from play, she's got a couple of options. She can roll it hard behind the guard. If it goes a little bit further, she can rest in front of the one that's in the 12-foot.
Skip stones. Cheryl Bernard.
No. No, nothing. No.
Wanting to hit about 3/4, she needs to stick around.
And unable to hold the shooter, and you just have to. We talked about the international field, and there's Elizabeth Gustafsson and her team from Umeå, Sweden, 4-time world champion. And we saw Patty Lank here from the US, and also the Swiss champion Strausik from Bern. And we're seeing more of this. I mean, she always has been one of those who has come to Canada in preparation for Worlds. And Calgary has always been one of her favorite stops. But with the Olympics coming up, Olympic funding, she's here. They'll go back home, then they'll come back. They'll play 2 more events on the tour before heading home, and then back again to Calgary about a week or so before the Salt Lake Games for preparation.
And I don't think that there's any doubt that what that says is that through the last years that Elizabeth has come to Canada, she has felt that that has been the best training ground for her teams. The quality and the number of great women's teams in this country have been the best test and the best practice for her.
You know who also did that and came over, and if I'm not mistaken, came and spent about 6 weeks with Peter Lindholm.
The amazing tour.
Who, you know, and he went on to win the World Championship, and his thought process was, look at, the only way we're going to get better is by playing the best, and they are here.
Not only did they play the best, but I vividly remember '93 when he was traveling across the country. He was really depressed because they were pretty much getting annihilated by some of the Canadian teams, and he sat down in Kelowna at a table that I was at, and Carrie Burtnick was there and Wayne Middaugh was there, and he said, like, what am I doing wrong? And they were honest with him. They felt that he went into the game far too aggressive before his team was ready, and that they had to be ready to make all the big shots if they weren't going to remove any stones from play. And he was just so appreciative that Canadian teams and great Canadian players would take the time to make his game better, and we've certainly seen great results from him.
And Lindholm winning a World Championship will be the Swedish representative. And you know that love affair that he has with this country. He wears a gold maple leaf.
He does, and I vividly remember when he purchased that. He played in the juniors in Portage la Prairie, Manitoba, and stayed with Barry and Diane Sadler, very good friends of his still, and he will be the best ambassador that you can ever find for this country, and he will tell anyone who asks him about what a fabulous country this is.
Facing a couple with her last stone, Cheryl Bernard.
The elusive draw weight.
Freeze only, freeze only. Just a freeze, just a freeze. Whoa, 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 take a look.
Where are we?
Freeze. Freeze.
She can't see that much of it, wanting to just freeze, hoping to hold Cathy to 2.
Okay. Okay, sure.
Now she'll bounce off. And now this will be a hit for 3. What else could she have done there?
Quite right.
Well, it's tough. I mean, I suppose arguably you could have played the out turn, the wide out turn, and tried to draw behind it or come around it. But that shot was in a really good spot. It was a tough shot.
Not bad. It's just either line.
I don't know, you bang the back one there and try. I know there's a jam possibility, but if you hit it right, maybe it'll squeeze out, and you give them 2, maybe, I guess, is rather than 3. That free seemed like a tough shot to me.
There's no question it is. I guess what Cathy, or whether what Cheryl was thinking, is if she had corner frozen that one, she still would have been potentially giving Cathy 2, but it would have been a far more difficult shot than just drawing anywhere to the 8-foot. Unfortunately, just a little bit heavy and bouncing off of it, and so a wide open shot for Cathy King.
Off.
Chance for 3 here.
Right
Hit and
off.
stick for
Clean.
Cathy King.
No!
Clean it. It's fine. Nice shot.
It sure
As
is.
it picks.
For 3 here in the 5th. Cathy King and her team from the Otwell in Edmonton.
Know until the rock hits the other rock.
A little bit of a panic yell from Cathy, but I think it was pretty good out of her hands.
Yeah, no,
Well, Cathy's last win on the women's tour was this autumn gold 2 years ago. And now she leads 7-2 through 5, trying for a second win in 3 years. Cathy King and her team leading by 5 on WTSN. If you can score a 3 spot in the 3rd, another in the 5. Cathy King leads 7-2 as we go to the 5th end break. Coming back to Calgary, it's nice to see some old friends such as Bill Popwell, who is with Husky Oil of Canada in their advertising and promotions area. And Husky has been a long time, a very good friend, in particular women's curling.
We've actually been involved in women's curling for 13 years, and this is the 11th year to be involved in this particular bonspiel.
And in these 2 particular teams.
Oh, actually, this is very interesting. We sponsor Cheryl's team throughout the year, and we're the weekend sponsor of Cathy's team this weekend. So I think I have to just cheer for Last Rock.
And and when you look at women's curling, how far has it come from those first days? Was it a gamble then? And I suspect now, I'm going to put words in your mouth, it isn't a gamble now.
It isn't a gamble now. A lot of our markets are focused on the women's events and different things. And at the time, we've had some tremendous opportunities with the women's events, and we're very appreciative to being involved.
Well, it's a pleasure always to see you when we come to Calgary, and good luck to both your teams.
Thank you very much, Vic, and we just hope this final goes tremendously. So, and thank you for this great support that's going on TV this weekend.
Bill Popwell of Husky Oil of Canada. Thank you, sir. And as well as Husky Oil, the Autumn Gold would like to thank these local sponsors.
Women's Tour of Curling on WTSN is brought to you by JVC. Excite your senses. Lubriderm. Feel good from the outside in. Rower Direct. Quality, fresh cut. To order, call 188-ROSE-888.
One stone already played here in this 6th with Cathy King leading 7-2. Cheryl Bernard does have the hammer, and King coming right into the house and sitting on the edge of the button with the first stone from Kate Horn. We were talking during the break that, you know, it's funny, the same things that troubled Cheryl Bernard earlier today are troubling her now, whether though she can get out of the jam she's in now as she did against Kelly Law is the question.
Well, she was down 3 points against Kelly after 5. She's down 5 points against a team that's playing really well, although Kelly Law's team did play very well as well, but it's no question it's an uphill battle from here on in. For Cheryl, I think the best thing that can happen is if she can score a quick 2 here, put her back on the board, and then you start saying, you know, we're within 3. If we hold them to 1 and take 2, we might just get out of this thing alive.
Well, think back to that game against Law. She scored a 3 in the 6th, which gave her the jump. The numbers after 5 brought to you by Unisys. You're on target with Unisys e-Solutions.
Big team percentage difference whenever you're dealing with about 11%. The biggest thing, if you look in the Bernard column, 62% versus 88 for hits. As soon as you're getting 20% difference, that's been not only some hit and rolls out, but more key, there has been some wide open misses that have really put Cheryl behind the 8 ball when she goes to throw her last stone.
Yep. Yeah, that's good.
They have 1 corner guard. Now they have 2. For Cathy, she's looking to see if there's a possibility of eliminating both. For sure, she wants to eliminate 1. She feels she's pretty good in terms of setup with the rock on the 4-foot and the 1 on the 12-foot protecting it. So Brenda may get both because they're hitting the higher one first.
Yep.
But as long as they get 1,
Hurry!
calling out of her hand.
Hurry! Right up! Hurry!
Keep going, right across. Nice shot.
She got 1.
Yep.
Cheryl wanting to move.
Do you like just
this earlier in the day, she would have tapped this back.
Back here?
yeah,
Or yeah, okay, why don't we push it back this way?
sure.
Tapping it back here or back here. Really, the line they want is
Yeah,
to
back
move it
line,
back
right.
here, wanting to create some offense. The danger, of course, when you're 5 down and playing the hit, is that if you hit and you roll out, that lets Cathy King back to the advantage.
Now,
Good
running
call.
it back and trying to make the double and leaving your shooter right there, does that do you any good?
Not really. I mean, you lie 1 for a minute, but then Cathy King hits it and you've got nothing here by tapping it back. There's no way that she's going to be shot, but there will be lots of rocks in play, and that's how she scored the 3 against Kelly Law. You have to bite the bullet and just say, it's time to go to the wall a little bit here.
Yep, yep, yep.
A little bit underthrown.
Okay, that's good.
Oh, thank you, good.
Cathy, all of a sudden,
What do you like?
she's got 2 stones right in front of the tee line. They're in a great
Sit
spot.
right here,
Yeah, I think that's...
or do this.
These will be the stones that Cheryl will be
Hitting off.
tapping back next.
With the outturn, just hit and flop?
What's that?
Just with the outturn?
This is too easy a pocket though, right? I kind of like this.
Okay. Top 4 is okay too?
Cathy's really worried if they leave
Yeah,
that
you don't
pocket
wanna be
that here's
long.
where
Yeah.
Cheryl's going to be. And then they're going to have
yeah, too.
no way to get in there. So the decision is that what they want to do is block off
Can't
this
see it?
path, put it right there,
See it now? You see it now?
and take it away.
Brenda Bomer.
That's good. Whoa, that's good. I think we're top 4. We're top 4.
Mine's good. Real tight to it.
Yep.
Hard line! Key line!
Hard!
Lonnie McDonald and Cade Horn with
No roll.
the brush.
That's fine, Bren.
That's good.
Good shot.
That's very good.
It's not bad, but the worry that they had is still there, which is for her to go
like
right
this.
here. There's lots of room. Cheryl, of course, does not care about what I think.
Gotta clear
And
something
looking
off the
at
front.
clearing the front.
So
one
many
here?
things I could say.
We're getting
I don't
pretty
mind
tight in
moving
here.
those. We can use those later. I don't mind. playing the top one just with less weight and keep it back here.
Yeah, okay, because we're getting kind of tight in here. You just want to raise this back or push it back to the back.
I need more weight. Because that pocket.
Yeah, more weight, Barb.
Concern is that if they go there, they may not be able to get right in the pocket, which is here. They want to leave that there. So what they're going to do is play that red stone that's biting the top of the forefoot, trying to push it sideways, leaving their stone right in front of those two, hoping that Cathy's going to try to take a whack at it and maybe drive it back right into the pocket for them.
And the other thing, too, is, I mean, you're playing just second stones, Barb Davies. Even if you did get it there, it might be the only one you do get there.
Lots of time to go.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
They just got to make sure that they keep all of their rocks in play.
That's fine.
Okay, that's good.
Didn't get any rub on?
No.
Even froze right in the middle.
Once again, Cathy looking at this pocket and wanting to make sure that that's not an option. By putting the rock right here, it takes it right away.
Okay, top 12.
Brenda's really took off, so.
Okay, so we're going out further. Do you think I need more?
Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it.
Especially now that Cathy King lies 3.
Okay.
They want to protect that
I think
pocket.
throw about 60, like about the same.
When they refer to 60, one of the timing methods that Cathy King's team uses rather, is from the kick to the hog line.
We even see it broken down, don't we? Kick to tee. I mean, some people even break it down that finely, don't they?
There's all kinds of timing methods, and does one work better than another? Not necessarily, as long as everyone's working from the same sort of theory and knows what it means.
Right up, all the way. All the way.
Get a bite, get a bite.
Good sweeping, you guys.
Yeah, you just play a tap back to here.
Lonnie's really walked there.
Every Wednesday on WTSN at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, benchmarks, profiles, Canadian female athletes. This week, it's Liz Silcott, former member of the Canadian national women's basketball team. Benchmarks, Wednesdays on WTSN. Let me suggest to you something here. If you're trying to move things back, if you were to play that right into the crotch of those stones, just bump them back and leave them there, but at least get them behind the tee line. Thought, is that what they're thinking of doing here?
Wanting to make sure that they're right in the middle of those stones. If they bump them back, fine, but they're not even really worried about bumping them back, but they have to be on top of them now. It's now or never time.
Playing third stone, Susan O'Connor.
Coming down big. Whoa. Tee. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, it's good, it's good, it's good. It's a good shot. Nice one, Sue.
Shot stone is the yellow of Cheryl Bernard.
Are they even, Cathy?
Gets tougher. You got a little smiley face here.
Are they even?
Hard to jam that one out.
These two?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No, well, they're almost a rock width. High. This one's higher by rock width.
Okay.
Tough hole to poke it through.
This hole is great.
Yeah.
Which is why Cheryl didn't want her to tap it back that far. The less that she tapped it, the more difficult shot that this would become.
Normal.
You can see from the hack, she can see almost all of it. 3/4 it goes through the hole. And if she clips one of the back ones with her, Cathy won't mind it in the least. Those rocks are all to Cheryl Bernard's advantage.
Lonnie McDonald.
Whoa! 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 Off! Whoa!
Thing is, we haven't seen any big mistakes yet from this team.
Another girl.
Nicely done.
Very nice indeed. Be able to get it through. But then again, all those stones are there. Would she have taken? Cathy King said, "Hey, if you can get rid of one of ours too, we don't mind."
Not at all. It would have taken this away, because the more rocks back there, the more difficult it will be for Cathy to get them out. She hits this absolutely perfect in picking it right out. And she sticks around, albeit about 5th shot. And so for Susan O'Connor, this is another opportunity to sort of do the inside rub and roll, and now there are more rocks in play.
Hard! Hard!
wanting to get just to the inside of the rock that's in the 4 foot, the top.
Whoa. Hard, hard. Hurry, hurry. Right over, right over, right over.
Now right over. And
Great shot. New scarf for the puppy.
buried behind that guard.
I think that one's as bad as
Stones stop top of the 12-foot center line.
Great weight on this shot. She had to throw about the same. The worry is it going to hold up or start to move? Really good call by Cheryl. They get it just on the inside, which you'll see spins it across, and it's now protected by those 2 staggered stones.
A little bit of...
You still only caught half a rock, though, eh?
Well, no,
To
I
hit it really
I was
thin?
like 2/3.
A redirect, essentially.
Normal.
Danger here is if she hits it a little bit too thick, she can jam the yellow onto the red, which is why when you're up 5, the least amount of rocks in play is really what you want. Huge numbers from Ms. King.
Skip stones here in the 6th. 7-2. King leading Bernard. $9,000 to the winner.
No. No, no, no.
Oh. Oh.
Okay, that's fine.
It opens up the shot stone sitting back of the button.
Good.
Threw it okay? Just want to curl?
Yeah, you flicked it out just a bit at the end.
I don't know if I can try the intern.
They could do thin, thin, though, that way.
See what?
They could do thin, thin.
Yeah, but
I don't even mind if we touch this a little bit.
I think I'm gonna come the way you guys have been coming in here.
If we cross face a little bit, that's good.
Yeah, that's not bad. Right there.
Looks good.
Want to move that yellow stone around a little bit. What they see right now is, of course, it's very easy to remove that stone from play. What they want to do is just touch it. So this goes here and this goes here, in which case they're both going to be frozen to those red stones. Really tough for Cathy to remove.
Just a little. So 13.5.
Wow, if you remember the 95% we showed you when Cathy threw, there's a difference on the board.
And indicative, I mean, there again, that over her shoulder, that steal of 3 when she was heavy with her final draw. I'd like to see her draw percentage, where that is part of the 60%.
Where? Tee line. Just tee?
Whoa, 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 whoa,
It's
whoa.
close with weight. It's a question of line.
Oh.
Try.
To lie 2. But now they're grouped.
That's okay. Just had to curl another inch. Oh, just one more turn, and we were trying to kind of sit a little bit. It's not bad.
Should have had you go a little bit.
Just another bit.
You seen any hits on this side yet?
Well, you can play the other turn still.
Yeah. And we just played it.
Yep. Okay, same way?
Yeah, I mean, even into the crotch isn't going to kill us, but
You need to get just on this side?
yeah. We'll probably lose the red one by your left foot there.
Trying to drive it through the hole.
Okay,
You can
normal.
see with those 2 red stones in the
Gotta hit it
back
just
of the
across.
4 foot.
Looks like a lot of ice. Doesn't it?
This is
A little
way
less
tougher
ice, Lonnie.
than it looks
Okay.
like. Nose hits, not the end of the world.
No, 2 at this point if you're Cathy King.
How's weight,
I would
normal?
think
Same.
she gave up 2, she'd be satisfied considering the situation she finds herself in right now. Final stone for King here in the 6th.
Clean.
Cheryl Bernard does have the hammer.
Yep. Clean. Whoa.
Whoa!
Whoa.
Whoa!
Horn and Bomer backing right off.
No.
No.
All on its own.
Good shot. Removes 1.
And so the chance is there for 2.
Shot.
The red?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll come across the, that'll come.
Obviously,
What
she
do you
wants to
throw
hit
it?
it right on the nose,
Control
but
up.
this is the key
Really?
shot right
Yeah,
here. There's
it'll
no
come that
room
much.
for Cheryl
What? It'll
to
come that much?
move. When she hits the stone, she must hit it right on the
I'm just
nose
thinking
in
you
order
can
to
draw
score
here.
2.
It's just I'm close to the line.
Yeah, and the other
This is
thing
where it
too
will
is
move.
if she doesn't get to the
Hey, touch
nose and
left
she
there.
hits it anywhere on that
Yeah.
that broom side, that brush side, then she
just come
maybe
off,
even
just
raises it off and
control up.
kills her own.
That's what she's worried about.
She's
I
got to,
think it
you're
will
right,
come
got to be
across that
right
one, won't it?
on that center line nose. Pick it right off the Husky's ears.
He was picking that poor puppy apart today.
Final stone here in 6. Chance for 2. Cheryl Bernard.
Clean. Yep. Yeah.
Big 2 points would put her within 3.
Here they go, Davies and Ruse now, right on the nose, and do not move from there. Sit right there. And they just got on it late. They weren't able to hold it. And so Cheryl Bernard has to settle for 1 here in 6. Maybe a missed brushing call here.
Just so concerned that this was going to stay straight. Good control weight right out of her hand. They knew that these rocks are going to curl. They've been curling all day, and they just wait a little bit too long, and it rolls away.
Bernard picks up 1. King has the hammer back and leading by 4 here on WTSN. The Lubriderm Women's Tour of Curling continues in London. Linda Moore will join Cathy for the next 3 weeks in London, Winnipeg, where the added bonus, of course, is the winner there becomes the 4th qualifier for this year's JVC TSN Women's Skins game, then Saskatoon, and then you have
The pleasure of your company
look
yet
forward to me
again.
returning for Red Deer, November 4th and 5th.
Are you just going to wait here for me to come back? or-
Yeah, that's what I'll do. Yeah.
That's it.
You'll just
Great
see me
shot.
by the road outside the airport waiting for you to come back. As we go to the 7th, and Cathy King leading by 4. You know, there again, there's Cheryl Bernard. She can point and look at this game and missed opportunities. There was a good one. You know, that draw where she was heavy to steal a 3. It's not hard to see where this game has
No.
gotten away from her.
And she knows exactly. Sometimes it's just, you know, one of those days where the other team gets all the rolls and you can't seem to do that. That's not the case here. It really started to slip away from her when she just, you know, continues to fight the elusive draw weight. Some great numbers by Katie Horn for Cathy, and the lead is so important in the 3-guard zone. It sets up your end, and they say that the draws is supposed to be the strength, but Katie's hits have been absolutely perfect.
Kate works out 6 times a week.
Clean.
Very, very dedicated. This is someone who is not only dedicated to curling, but dedicated to just having a very healthy lifestyle. And we've certainly seen over the years that curlers are now considered athletes. At one point, people used to think that you could just show up in September and throw rocks for a couple of months and then go sit on a couch. That's not the case anymore. In order to perform at a high level, you have to be fit and you have to be ready for the season when it comes.
Oh, yeah.
Barb Davies.
Cathy King currently lies 1 in the top of the forefoot behind a long guard. And so for Cheryl and her crew, with only 1 point last end, they also gave up the hammer, and so they need to stay aggressive, need to freeze down to the stone. And Barb continues to have a bit of a struggle.
Okay, Barb.
Not much to choose between here. As soon as you have about a 2% difference, that's pretty much considered. Even what is huge are the draws. 56%. Barb continues to struggle, and including the last shot, wanting to be in the house, needing to be frozen, just not there. And over the weekend, we have updated you on the other major tour event, Regina, where 4 of the Olympic trials teams were competing. The final was just won this afternoon by Sherry Anderson, or rather Sherry Madaw, I stand corrected. Sherry Madaw, who has had a great season, started with the win in the Montreal Open, and now won this afternoon in an extra end, 8-7 over Jan Becker and former world champion team.
You're getting your Sherrys mixed up.
When do you leave again?
Yeah, well, see, Sherry Anderson won Montreal. Sherry Madaw finished second.
Oh.
And now Madaw has won in Regina over Jan Betker.
I need a Sherry.
Yes. And in fact, why some of the teams elected to go to Regina is because it was at the Agridome, and that's where the Canadian curling trials will be.
Thanks, Vic.
Okay.
Yep, for line. Line.
Don't make a mistake, Mr. 64 Club.
Hard, bump. Hard. Hurry, hard.
Cheryl Bernard continues to pursue that elusive stone in the top of the 4.
Hurry, hurry, hurry.
Better weight for sure by Barb Davies, wanting to weld it right on the top, and maybe they can make a play. That over curled yet again, but still, it's in play.
Just a little light again. That just nice and clean release here.
Yep.
Oh, it picked.
Right out of her hand. You can see that stone. She said picked and went straight sideways.
Didn't even stand a chance.
I could see the scratch. There it starts here.
She cleaned her rock really, really well. It could have been anything. It can be, you know, a piece of a broom. It could be dust. You see that she comes out of the hack, and you'll just see this rock go make a big jump. Unfortunately, we couldn't see it, but clearly on Brenda's face. And that is one of the equalizing factors in curling that you have absolutely no control over.
And those kind of things, we've seen it through the years. They even themselves out. As much as you have them happen to your team, you'll also get the pick or the
breaks do even themselves out.
Favor. Susan O'Connor. It did hurt though. Kelly Law in the semifinal as her final stone, and she was playing a quiet tap back on a stone, wide open stone actually, or no, it was half hidden.
It was about half hidden.
Half hidden, picked.
Pretty much out of her hand.
Yep, no, yep. Hard, hard, free guys.
A good shot. Well played by Susan, tapped it back. Here you see a little bit of a discrepancy in numbers. Lonnie having a very good game. Susan's numbers aren't particularly bad. Her draw is obviously much, much stronger. Not missing wide open hits, but having a real difficulty in keeping her shooter in play, which is significant.
Yeah, half a rock maybe. That's scary.
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
Makes it tough for Cathy now, because with those 2 yellow stones in the position that they are, to remove it, this is a danger, either this way or this way.
Do you think I can get at the inside with board weight?
No. Wow.
I see it all.
Lonnie wondering from the hack if this guard is so high that she can get in to the inside of it.
You know, I don't mind you playing like back 4 weight. Even if you tap it and move them around a bit.
Well, won't we leave them on the button if we...
Well, hopefully it'll curl enough that you'll just come to the inside.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. Well,
I hate to see the card word.
Let's go right here.
Okay.
Just freeze right on it.
What do you guys think here? 70? We got yours. What did you have, 70?
Decided that it's too dangerous to try to remove either of those yellow stones. That guard is high, but they know it curls really hard. So Cathy just wanting to make sure that Cheryl can't drive either one of those back, and so wants to park it right in the middle of those 2 yellow stones that are in the 8-foot.
And in doing that, any promoting, any bumping up is taken away too, isn't it?
Makes it very, very difficult if she makes this perfect.
Lonnie McDonald.
Lots of room.
As we play in the 7th, 7-3, Cathy King leading Cheryl Bernard in this final of the Autumn Gold Classic from the Calgary Curling Club on WTSN.
Hard! Hurry, 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 hurry. Hurry. Okay.
Well, it didn't get to the middle, and so Cathy tried to make the decision early to try to make the run back a little bit more tough.
Now when we take a look at these, it looks like, depends when you want to go to it. Are these yellows lined up in any way?
They're lined up 100%, but for Cheryl, one of the things that she's thinking about is that that can be something that she uses on her last shot. And the stone on the center line is one that Cathy will promote. What she's probably going to do is want to tap that stone up, and so the best thing that she can do is remove it. If she sticks right there, that's a stone that Cathy's got to worry about.
It's interesting that that shot by McDonald, one of the few mistakes we've actually seen.
Hard! Right up! Right up!
She didn't throw it that bad. It just didn't finish as hard as they thought that it would.
Susan O'Connor over, and there you go. And she even gets the little roll, the roll behind cover.
This is where you really want to have last rock for Cheryl Bernard, but she does not.
No.
A good shot by Susan.
You want to try and hit this one, Lonnie? You can get rid of both these two.
Okay.
You have to hit it like quite an angle though, eh?
Like a quarter?
Well, half.
Okay, I can see half.
The only thing is you might clip this one on the way by though. But we need to get rid of a few yellows here. Okay, normal weight, half rock.
If I rip the guard, is that?
This goes this way, this goes this way.
Well, not, yeah.
Danger is hitting it too thick.
No, we need to get
Gets it
this.
too thick.
Okay.
What's that?
When they tap that, will it move ours? Like,
Yeah.
It looks to me like their
They
angles
can
are
do
okay.
this way.
Okay.
Can you see half?
Yep. Just half.
Normal.
Okay, girls.
She can even hit a third of this stone. And be good. The risk or the danger is over curling.
Right out of her hand. Here they go. Horn and Boehmer trying to hold it now for Lonnie McDonald as it's diving towards that guard and crashes in front.
Okay.
What was my weight?
Okay, Lonnie. Try it.
I got to think about this. I can't think of where those ice
You're double tapping, so.
Now, Barb, I had to hear for Barb on that draw that she came around. Didn't move that much. Her to come around didn't move a lot. She had no weight, mind you. Where is it better if even if I come up to the nose, isn't it?
Yep.
Nose is still okay.
So they're going to play the tap-tap. It's interesting. Susan O'Connor, her first inclination was to put the brush down just maybe over the snout of the dog. She thought maybe we'd come around that way and maybe corner freeze if we can to that red stone.
And that was not what Cheryl was thinking. And it'll be interesting to see as this team spends more time together if one of the things that Cheryl asks her to do is let her call the stone first, because Susan has different thoughts than Cheryl. We've seen that through the course of the day, and one of the biggest dangers that you can do is put two different thoughts in a skip's mind at the same time. That starts to mess with your confidence.
And your guard didn't move either.
And so now she's questioning the ice. This is the time for Cheryl to play this shot. She's got to move that stone off of the forefoot. She doesn't want to remove it from play because she'd like to leave it around so that Cathy, when she's trying to remove some of the yellow, may jam on it itself. She's looking for about backline weight, just wants to bump, bump, bump.
Cheryl Bernard in her first.
Hard. Hard. Yep.
Skip stones here in the 7th.
Hard. Hard. Hurry.
Boy, she narrowed up the ice now.
Hurry. Whoa.
gone. Yep. Line this up there.
Well, you take that ice back that she took away, and she may have just had that shot.
Who knows what rock I had at that time? Yeah.
Well, see, this is something. She was in the 30s, even lower, 34%, if I remember correctly, in the semifinal when it came to her draw weight, Cheryl Bernard, and hasn't improved it very much.
Continues to be a struggle, whereas Cathy King, not only are those great numbers overall, but the most significant one is the perfect score with a draw. And as a skip, that is what you have to be able to do at any point in the game to bail your team out of trouble. And something Cathy's been able to do.
Play the double. Just curl so much there. Yeah, that's true. Can we do this? Yeah, I like that. Just like to full 8. It's no good here, is it? No. Well? No, because then she just got a straight double then. Okay. Just let's do this. Okay. What kind of weight are you going to throw? Well, a little more. Control. Okay.
They considered playing this and removing both of them, but you can see the risk with the red stone here. By eliminating this stone and rolling out here in the 8-foot, they know that they're only going to be first and third, but they're counting on Cheryl having to make a play on the second shot stone. Cathy taking another look from in front of the house.
Well, if I remember wide, I'm taking my own out. No, let's play this one.
Okay.
Having another thought about that double, it's pretty tempting. Cathy's saying if she's ever wide, she takes her own out. This is probably the safer shot and the smarter shot when you're up 4 points and you have last stone.
Yeah, just a bit, yeah. Yeah, we gotta make sure we stick around, eh? Control. Kitty, you threw one down here that didn't curl, right? No, no, no. It was just, it could have been this, just this. Okay.
We have seen in this spot, you have to release it cleanly. You can't get it started because it really will snap on you, won't it?
It really will. It's right inside the blue line.
And here again, did she get it started? Because it's awfully busy for Horn and Bomer now.
Right up, 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 right up.
Oh boy,
It's not
to
so
lie
bad.
too. It actually backed up.
I don't know if it is or not.
We talked about how tough this spot is. They worked it really hard, virtually out of her hand, and kept it much straighter than we thought it could have. So she hits about 3/4, rolls in, kind of rubs off the back of the yellow one. Lies 2.
What do you think?
Oh, yeah, they'll go.
That red one, too?
Cheryl looking at the angles. Cathy looking at the angles.
A little bit more ice.
Bang this hard. Whoops, she'll be throwing the Yellowstone. Wants to bang this hard. Bang, bang, bang.
Quite a lot.
Thinks they'll both go. She has got to throw a bullet.
I need quite a hard lot.
You couldn't play it thin. You couldn't play a thin double on those, the corner that's exposed. You wouldn't get anything out of that?
You'd remove one.
Yeah.
Cheryl wants to lie 4.
Facing 2 here with her last one, Cheryl Bernard. Throwing it from the hip.
Whoa. Yep.
Needs half or 3/4 on the outside.
Right up.
All right, here they go. Bang, 1, 2, 3, and there they go.
It's a great shot.
Good try.
And she'll lose 2 others.
Sweeping. It's about as hard as I can drew it. Sweeping.
She hits this pretty well, a little thinner, and she may have had more oomph when it hits the top of the red one. You see it hits pretty thick, so that one goes. The back one stays. Nonetheless, it's still a really good shot, and she lies 2 right now.
Is there a double there for 2 for King?
There is indeed, but they're frozen, and so it's not as easy as it would have been if there was some separation. But for Cathy, certainly a makeable double for 2.
Final stone, Cathy King looking for a couple here
Yep.
in the 7th.
Hard! Whoa! 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 Whoa!
Called off now. Horn and Bomer got 2. Will the shooter hang around?
It's okay. Nice
No,
shot.
it'll spill out the back, and Cathy King will settle for 1 here in the 7th.
A little too much weight.
Well, maybe a bit too much weight, Kath, or maybe you're just, the whole team worried it would curl a little bit too much. They called sweeping really early, anticipating that big finish, but with weight, we know that it won't curl that hard. Hits it a little bit too thin, does remove the 2 yellow stones, but the shooter rolls out.
So Cathy King, the 98 Canadian champion, now leading by 5. Cheryl Bernard has the hammer when we come back on WTSN.
The Women's Tour of Curling on WTSN is brought to you by Husky and Mohawk Retailers and Mother Nature's Fuel, ethanol gasoline. Discount Car and Truck Rental, the people who pick you up. For reservations, call 310 CARS.
Well, it's the steal of 3 in the 3rd that still is the turning point, really.
It is, Vic, because if you take that 3 away from the 8, that's 5, and if Cheryl makes the shot, that's 4. A 5-4 game is a whole different game than 8-3. There's no doubt about that.
As we go to the 8th with Cathy King, leading by 5, Cheryl Bernard with the hammer and playing to the wings.
Good spot, top of the 4.
The Southwestern Ontario Cash Spiel is in London, Ontario. Linda Moore and Cathy will have the coverage for you on WTSN Sunday at 1 Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific.
Cathy having a rock in the top of the 4-foot and not able to hit the corner guard because of the 3-rock rule, has decided that fewer rocks in play are probably to her advantage, and that's why they've called the throw through.
Karen Roos.
Looking at the field shaping up for next weekend in London, we've got the international influence again, Louisa Ebnother.
From Switzerland.
From Switzerland coming into play, Margareta Lindhall from Sweden. Will be in that bonspiel. We've got the some of the American teams in Laurie Mountford, Amy Wright. Certainly we're going to get that international, and then we've got some great Canadian teams, of course, and Debbie Rauter.
Ah, yes.
Someone that you might know well, Mr. Vick.
Yeah, my wife will be skipping her team there, and
I look forward to covering her in the finals.
Yep, all the way. All the way. All the way.
I hope
Right
you
up.
do.
Right up. Great shot.
Good shot.
And a great shot indeed. If you can't eliminate the corner, you might as well use it to your advantage, and that's exactly what they've done.
Come and tap this back. How much can you see? Half. Okay.
Barb Davies.
Being asked just to tap that stone back.
Yep, for line.
Cheryl needs all of the
3,
stones that they
3.
have in play if they're going to generate some offense.
Right up, right
Barb
up, right
looked
up,
like
right
she
up.
kind of turned the key in the lock a little bit when she let go, kind of forcing it over a little bit.
Like freeze it or something?
No, we're freezing the guard.
And her
that's what I
troubles
mean.
continue.
That's what I meant.
A little short. Some days
Great
you
feeling,
just
friend.
can't seem to find the paint.
No.
Cathy now just wanting to eliminate those guards because those are the ones that are of use to Cheryl.
Brenda
Whoa,
Bomer.
whoa, whoa, it's falling. Whoa. Curl. Curl.
Good shot.
Hey, good shot.
Great shot,
Yeah,
clears
to
them
get them
all.
both.
Nicely done by Brenda.
Pretty fancy.
Very low-key player who just goes about doing her job in a very effective way. Hits this little thin. Cathy was worried about it falling out, but by hitting it really thin, she managed to catch the other one on the way by, removed her shooter as well, and so the front of the house is clear yet again.
Yep, for line. Hurry. Hurry, guys. Where's the weight?
Second chance for Barb. Same shot,
Okay.
wanting to tap that stone back a little bit.
Oh, we're losing line, but yeah. Yep. Yep. Hurry, 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 hurry. Hurry. Yeah, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. That's good. It's good weight, Barb.
Good line. Cathy sweeping that rock back because the more separation between those two stones, the easier it is
We might lose this
for
one, but
Lonnie to remove the stone from play.
we'll try and hit it high and roll right across. Okay. Normal.
Lonnie McDonald. Of these two teams, I mean, it's early in the season, we know, but we were commenting on Susan O'Connor and the way she works with Cheryl Bernard. Do you see a better combination right now in its early days between McDonald and King?
The big advantage for McDonald and King is that they've had a whole year to work with each other. They
that's
got
good,
together
Lonnie.
last
Nice shot.
year, and any time in any given year that you manage to qualify for the Olympic trials, you're doing something right. And this is sort of a second year to really take that experience and take that success they had last year and turn it up a notch for better things. New relationships, especially at the back end where there's so much communications that's necessary, sometimes take a while.
Just freeze. Line's real good. Take a look. Weight only. Weight only.
Good.
No, no bump.
And then the other thing, too,
Gonna
is
lose line.
you forget how much effort is put in by competitive women's teams, by competitive men's teams. The depth of the competitive level
Both of
isn't
these,
that
Lonnie.
deep. I mean, you have to find somebody that wants to as badly as you do. And that's maybe sometimes the most difficult thing.
I agree, and the key in terms of finding someone who wants it as much as you do is probably not that hard, but whether you can find someone who not only wants it as much as you do, but who is prepared to put in the time and dedicate the hours of practice. The Young Viprava team, counted 300 hours of practice. They count the hours of practice that they put in. Do you have the time? Are you a parent? Do you have responsibilities at work? Do you, in fact, have the time in your personal life? And do you have the ambition and the will to give up a lot of things, which these teams have to in order to succeed? Cathy continues to lie 3, spread across the house.
For Susan O'Connor, 8-3, Cathy King leading.
Cheryl does have last stone, needs to score, I would think, at least 2 here
Not going.
to give her a feeling that they have any chance, but they're sort of fighting an uphill battle at this point, Vic.
No line. No. Yep. Hurry, hurry.
Trying to freeze to the center stone,
All the way.
choosing to go behind it just because it wasn't moving.
Yeah.
Okay. So for Cathy, she'll be able to see about half of this rock from the hack, just wanting to pick it out, not interested in the least in sticking around.
Looks like a lot of ice, doesn't it? It's gonna be normal weight, but
Just wants to come down here, poke it through there, and roll out.
Yeah, let's do red onto yellow. It looks a little easier.
It's interesting. She looked at the ice call, Kath, said, it looks like a lot of ice.
Roll this one out.
Do you agree with her? Is this the easier play?
Well, it's from here you can see that when she's looking at it, she can see probably about half to 3/4. Her concern is that to take enough ice
Kath, you wanna
to just
save 'em both?
pick that out.
No.
Maybe she's not
Cheater's
comfortable
gone.
that the ice is going to
Cheater's
curl up a
gone.
little bit.
Okay.
Any part of the nose here, and that yellow stone is going to go.
Able to maintain her her high percentage through 7.
No.
Clean.
Yep.
Yep.
Hard. Hurry.
See that rock moving across the center line.
Hurry.
Right up, right up, right up, right up, right up. Roll that one,
Terrific.
Brenda.
You know what? You don't. There should be a new statistic on saves by front ends. I don't know how you could do that, but
If you freeze it.
there's another stone that those two, Horn and Boomer,
I was worried that
maybe
it's gonna
saved.
work on there.
At least saved it in regard to making the shot, keeping the shooter there.
I don't disagree, and I think that lots of times the great draw shots that you see are dragged there by a great front end. That is part of the job,
That should be good.
but not as what is scored. Once again, we're in a situation where these stones
Just freeze
are in
that
pretty
top
good shape from Cathy, and what it means is that for Cheryl, she'd like to put it here, hope Cathy makes a play at it, maybe jams. That's her only opportunity for 2.
Okay.
Struggled this afternoon, managed to eke out a win, continued to struggle this afternoon, and against an opponent who's just not giving way at all.
Lots of room.
Wait only.
We're way out. Where? Whoa. We're just.
Whoa then. Whoa.
we're just
Whoa.
laying
Whoa.
here.
Whoa. 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 Whoa.
Yep. Yep. Oh.
Not curling, just
No.
as Susan's didn't.
I almost hit that one nose.
What?
I almost hit that one nose, right? The
Yeah.
last one?
Yeah. Do a little more?
A touch more.
Wanting to eliminate this stone, you can see that if she hits it too much at an angle, there is the possibility of that. But pretty much a nose hit really puts Cheryl in a tough spot, because then you're going to have 2 red stones at the top of the 4-foot, neither of which can be hit for shot. Means a draw to the 4-foot, which is the shot causing Cheryl the most difficulty today.
Wow, of course. She missed a big draw against Kelly Law, gave up a steal of 4, missed a big draw in the third of this game, giving up a steal of 3 to Cathy
Clean.
King.
Close. Close. Yep. Yep. Right up. Right up. Little flop, Brenda. Oh,
Very
great
nice.
shot.
Wow, now you're facing 5. And there you go. Put it down and you say, put it there, skipper, full 4-foot.
Sweet.
One of the things, of course, if she comes back down to this, she's not likely to be shot. That's exactly what Susan's looking at right now, whether she sits on top of it, whether she would be or not. I don't think at this point that Cheryl is even thinking about that rock there. She needs a straight draw to the 4-foot.
Down by 5, facing 5, with her last one here in 8.
Wait
Cheryl
only.
Bernard.
No backing. Straight draw, no backing.
Hard. Hard.
Wait only, no backing. Yep. Yep.
Karen
only.
Roos and
Wait,
Barb
yes
Davies.
For line. Yes for line.
Wait only.
It's going
Take it to the
sideways.
4-foot, facing 5. Take it to the 4-foot, a little rub, and it'll be a steal of 1 more for Cathy King here in the 8th.
Yeah, we got one.
Yeah. She can stay out here if she wants.
It's a 9-3 game, and that's it. That's good, guys, says Cheryl Bernard.
Yeah, thanks.
And Cathy King will win the Autumn Gold Classic here in Calgary.
Brenda, congrats. Good game.
And so for the 2nd time in 3 years, the championship goes to the King of Calgary. So Cathy King's the winner here in Calgary. Next week, Linda Moore and Kathy Gauthier will be in London. It's been a thrill. Thanks to our entire crew This is the Lubriderm Women's Tour of Curling on WTSN.